Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Before we meet today's guest, as always, we're going to give a shout out to our great sponsors. Now, you've heard me say before, these are all companies I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit these sponsors. You're going to be very glad you did. Here we go. I want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to their website and schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You know, it's probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an AD, our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that demo today. We also want to thank Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years. When I became an AD, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just love the platform. Our student athletes love the videos. Our parents love the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com. Join the 8 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Beacon Creative Wall of Fame. You know, Vital Signs Wall of Fame has been bringing school legacies to life for the past decade, but Beacon Creative is a lot more. It's actually a creative content service that's going to supply stories for your digital platforms. All the time, we hear that schools want to celebrate their athletes more, but they just don't get a chance to. Well, Beacon Creative is going to do that for you, and you don't have to lift a finger. Contact John Townsend, that's John, at beaconwalloffame.com. That's John at beaconwalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown continues to change the game for schools with their solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course, but how about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, or even a coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. That's hometown.com, and don't forget to mention the podcast. Let's also say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team help you promote your athletes, promote your teams, promote your entire program using social media. It could be social media posts, it could be a newsletter, the list just goes on and on. Gipper is going to help you create meaningful content, text, images, video, you name it. And it's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results, communication, facilities. Their eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com and, like I said, don't forget to mention the podcast. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. There's a lot of programs out there, but Ohio University's allows you to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses while you earn your degree. It's the gold standard in athletic administration master's degree programs. Check out Ohio University and see what they can do for you. We also want to say thanks to SnapRaise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, I'm telling you, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with tremendous success, and so will you. Check out all their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's SnapRaise. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, how about your parents? You're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that's going to allow you to take your program from good to great. That's Athletic Surveys. And once again, don't forget to mention the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going up to South Carolina today, and our guest is Shaquana Miller. Shaquana is, I would say she's at the beginning of her journey. I'm obviously at the end of mine, but she's got an incredible background in athletics. She's been a college coach. She's currently an assistant athletic director at Anderson University. That's in South Carolina. She's also an entrepreneur. She's the founder and CEO of Next Play Athletics Consulting. We're going to hear all about that and more. But Shaq Miller, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, I want to say thanks to you for reaching out. We are both members of one of the Facebook athletic director groups,
Mhm.
and both of them, high school athletic director, secondary school athletic director, they're all great programs or great groups. And I encourage people to become members and to reach out to share your best practices. And that's one of the things that we're doing today. Shaquana, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up. We'll go ahead and talk about we'll go through your own college days and then we'll take a
Mhm.
break. But what is the Shaq Miller origin story?
All right, so I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, on the east side, where it was more in the rural area. So grew up there. I was a high school volleyball player as well as track and field star there. And then just decided to kind of just focus on one sport. And that's when I kind of merged into playing at volleyball and doing AAU, USAV, and just kind of loving the sport and getting into the sport. And then I just went to college for volleyball and kind of progressed through there in so many different ways. I knew that I wanted to be in athletics, and so that's how I was able to kind of start my journey with that.
Let's go in again. I'm just fascinated by the stories in the past that we all take. I want to go back to those developmental years, whether it was the driveway with a basketball hoop or the backyard were there brothers, sisters, neighbors. What are some of the memories you have of those days?
I would say for me, it was a few of the neighborhood friends that we had, and understanding that volleyball was the sport that I wanted to kind of transition to and kind of do and focus on full time was them just passing balls to me so I can make sure I have different targets to play. I was always a short girl. I didn't get into the height that I wish I did as a volleyball player. So I'm 5'3". And, I have a heart of a 6 footer. Like I feel like I can do it all, but of course, back row was my thing. And so I wanted to be great at that. And starting with those friends in the neighborhood and saying, hey, this is where I want you to be. This is where I want you to be. This is where I want the basket to be so I can try to practice there. It's just they helped me as a way to develop some structure and where I was when it comes to having a target for volleyball. And that's like them being the setter, for lack of better words. Um, and just doing things like that, some things that you never think that, wow, I can't believe that was my early years, is just doing small stuff can make you so much better, even if you're not in a gym, but using those people in your neighborhood because they probably say you're great at what you do because of us. But, I just love those early days. And so that is really helpful for me.
Now, as got older, more organized, you mentioned travel ball and all of
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Um, was there a moment, and these are my words, so don't feel like you're boxed in here. Was there a moment, or can you put your finger on a moment where you said, "Hey, I'm pretty good at this. I'm one of the better players." Was that a thing for you?
Yeah, it was a light bulb, right? I believe it was when I was on my first travel team, and I said, you know what? I'm actually kind of good at this. I was everything that someone would be looking for in a libero or a defensive specialist. Communicating well, being able to use footwork and have proper footwork, and just doing different things that's necessary to be great in that position. And so that's when I said, hey, mom, I need more money. I need to be at a certain club. I need to have a certain coach and a trainer. Like, this is where I want to go, and I want to do this at the college level. And so they did that. And it was at that point where the light bulb kind of went off, and I was just saying, okay, I need to do more. I need to be more, and this is how I need to do it.
Now, many of our listeners, they're high school athletic directors, and that's kind of
Mhm.
their focus. And sometimes there can be a tenuous relationship between the high school team and the club team. Were you able to have both experiences? Were you able to play on your high school team along with your club team?
I did. In fact, I was blessed because my high school coach was my club coach at one point, and she became the assistant. And so she kind of helped me transition. I was the only woman of color on the team. So that at the time is transitioning and learning how to be with just other races and ethnicities. And so I didn't have a problem because I had her as the assistant coach, and she kind of led me through those journeys and what that looks like for being a player.
Well, God, that's great. We always like to hear about that. As
Mhm.
an athletic director, I was very fortunate at the schools I was at. We had a number of our coaches that also had club
Yep.
teams, and I was just so proud of them. Of course, I was encouraging them to do that,
Yes,
but they
absolutely.
uh, they focused on the high school season, but at the same time had tremendous success with their club athletes. I think that's probably why they did have that club success, is they
Yep.
put the high school first. All right, let's look at that transition from high school to college. You already said, hey, I want to play at that next level.
Mhm.
Um, how did you approach? How were you approached from a recruiting standpoint? Do you have any memories of that time?
Absolutely. So that was when the light bulb was kind of off, when I started to get a little bit more of conversations from coaches. And I was starting to get more connections and contacts, emails, as you may call it. And then when they were coming to me, I just wanted to make sure that I always had my A game. I always played at the high level and where I felt like they were looking for. So that way, when it was time for them to say, hey, we want to offer you a spot on the team, I kind of made sure that I fit that because I was always asking, hey, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in a player? I felt like at that age, I was really mature. Athletically as well as a person because I knew that I wanted to play at that level. So these are some of the questions that I was told to ask so that way I could try to get that spot on that team.
Mhm. Now, when you came into college, and again, these are my words, were you the hotshot recruit, or did you have to kind of scratch and claw to find your playing time?
Listen, I had to scratch and claw from the bottom to the top. And that was the most humbling thing because, again, I thought that I was great. And then when you get to the college level, you're like, wait, there's more people that are playing at this high level. Um, there's people that are better. Of course, as a freshman in my position, I had a libero that I didn't think was better than me, but she was there. She had earned her spot, and I knew I needed her spot because I wanted to play. So I did what a good teammate would do. I was supportive, but I also did what a bad teammate would do, and I worked harder. So I knew that in order to, I had to pass better. I had to be more efficient. I had to be more communicative when it comes to everything. So no, it was a humbling experience my freshman year because I thought I should have been on that court, but my coach said, no, you won't be. So that was the most humbling thing that I've had.
But the other side of that coin is if you are working harder, that's making her
Yes,
work harder too.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the team gets better. No, I think
Yeah.
many of us have been in that situation where
Yes.
we want to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I have to do to become a player. Let's go and take our first break. Our
Okay.
guest today is Shaq Miller. She's tremendous background in athletics, currently an assistant athletic director at Anderson University, also the founder and CEO of Next Play Athletic Consulting. We're going to hear all about that later, but let's take that break. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards for their support of the podcast. Go to their website and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say many times, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to thank our good friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided Our student athletes love the videos and our parents love the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a huddle school. That's huddle.com.
I absolutely love hometown. It is so efficient for us when we have our home football games, basketball games. It allows us to put everything in one place. So I absolutely love hometown at Anderson universities and actually all the other universities that I have worked at. It's something that it houses all of our tickets where we could do it for our home games. It's something that is so efficient and it puts everything together, making it so easy when we have our guests as well as our home team coming in to attend the games. So hometown is definitely the way to go.
I really appreciate you sharing that.
Huddle is the way to go. It actually is so good for our conference because it is able to record our games. We were able to use it and send film out to not just each other in terms of in the conference, but as well as breaking it up for our coaches to be able to use to give to their players so that way they know what to work on for the next game. So Huddle is definitely the way to go.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. Have what's some of the feedback that you've gotten from, say, the coaches about huddle? Because again, I mentioned as a football coach, I knew all about it, but as an AD, I was concerned if our other coaches would like it as much, and they all did. But what kind of feedback did you get?
I haven't heard anything negative. Really for Huddle, it's so easy to use. Our AD is on board, which is of course why we have it. And he knows how to use it, front to back, end, left to right. He's someone who is great when it comes to using the latest and best technology. And Huddle is something that we love because it's just, again, easy to use.
Oh yeah, we love those forward thinking athletic directors.
I have that.
Well, let's get back to the
All
interview.
right.
Once again, for
Sure.
listeners, our guest is Shaquana Miller. Her good friends call her Shaq. She's an assistant athletic director at Anderson University, and that's in South Carolina. Shaquana, I think it's important for our listeners, particularly younger listeners, to hear about the journey that we all take. So, what um, what was your initial job or your initial experience coming out of college as a student athlete, and what was the journey that's now brought you to Anderson University?
So honestly, athletics has always been something that has been what I wanted to do. At first, I wanted to be a sports agent, and then I was able to go into different realms. I went to Georgetown University and had the opportunity to have some really, really great internships. One of those internships was with Special Olympics headquarters. So I was able to do game operations on a high level, international level. And so then I was able to just do so many different things until I kind of decided, you know what? I want to work in higher ed. I wanted to be a college coach. I want to be an athletics director. So what do I need to do? I believe that those things, those internships kind of gave me the experience that I needed working in the professional realm, but it also gave me kind of what I wanted to do. I was able to work through so many things and kind of find who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and the purpose that I wanted to do while on this earth. And that was one of those things. So when I came out of my internships, I looked for a job. I looked for a coaching position and was blessed to have one at a small Division II in Richmond, Virginia, where I'm from. And the rest is history.
Okay. Now, there's an expression that we hear all the time: you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
You were an athlete, competed at the highest level, and now all of a sudden you're a coach. What was something that you found out that you didn't know in that first coaching role?
Oh, wow, everything. I can't even pinpoint one thing. Here's why. I literally had to call my coach and apologize for giving her a hard time. As a small little 5'3" libero, I was just so much energy and just so much fire. I was a fireball. And literally, I got it my first year. So when I called her and apologized for just being crazy Shaq, she said, you know what? That's how it is. And so she kind of gave me some tips on how to manage so many different personalities, and then how to work through those things and those challenges that I may have as a coach. So I didn't know nothing. I was a head coach and I literally thought I was hot stuff until I got on that court with those 15 female players and it was, just a blessing in disguise because it helped me to grow up, but it also, again, humbling and having to go back to my coach and say, hey, I need help.
Now, before you got to Anderson, you were also an assistant athletic director at another school, I believe.
Yes.
How did that position develop?
So I wanted to get into moving into administration. Again, my ultimate goal was to be an athletic director. So I assumed being a coach would give me to that level because you kind of start from the bottom to the top and you kind of learn your way through. And that's what I did. I was granted and blessed with the opportunity to be an assistant athletic director for compliance and student athlete success, as well as the senior women administrator at a Division II college in Albany, Georgia. And so from there, I just had a friend who knew someone and kind of put my name in the hat. I interviewed, and the rest, I was there for a few years and kind of grew my experience so much to where I am now professionally.
Now, we talk obviously in the podcast, and I think maybe beyond the podcast, about the athletic director's toolbox. Can you remember something from Virginia Union that you brought with you now to Anderson? Something you found that you've kept in your toolbox?
Yeah, for me, it was just kind of leading with a vision and a presence, kind of understanding what you wanted to do and what you want to be, understanding what that AD's vision is and what you wanted for your own program. So that's something that I kind of do everywhere. Like, what's my vision? Even though, and making sure that it's in alignment with the university, that it's in alignment with the athletic director in the program, but kind of understanding how I wanted to chart myself forward professionally in that particular position. So I've used that no matter where I am and where I go.
Mhm. Now, after Virginia Union, um, you went back to coaching for a while, and then you were
Yes.
an assistant AD at Albany State. So
hmm
you're gathering more experience. What's some of the moments, if you will, from those stops that also ended up in your toolbox?
I would say master the three negotiables quickly. Because even though some of those jobs I were in coaching, I also was doing administration as well. And so for me, that was the three negotiables was people, compliance, and culture. And having to master those three, because no matter where you are, you have to work with people. No matter where you are, you have to deal with compliance. And no matter where you are, there's a culture whether it's good or bad, once you master those three, you're able to kind of maneuver and make it better for where you are in that particular position.
Now, we're going to talk about Anderson in the next segment, but I'm curious about what appealed to you about that particular position. How did you end up in your current position at Anderson University?
Okay, so I know I have a time frame, so let me see how I can make this quick. So I was selected for to be I was a part of the NCAA Athletic Directors Women in Leadership. So that means that it was just about 10 of us from the entire country that was selected, and we were paired up with athletic directors as our mentor, because like I said before, being an AD was my ultimate goal. So I was paired up with this amazing athletic director at Anderson University while I was at Albany State. And so he helped me maneuver the tough times that I've had because not that it was bad, but it was just in my position, it was a lot of work and it was a lot of things required of me. So if I want to be an AD, how do I work through those things? So he kind of helped me brainstorm how to communicate, how to work with people, what that looks like, and what my culture should be. And he's just always been a great mentor to me. A position became available, and he wanted me to work, and I said, absolutely not. But the backstory to it is my husband is the vice president for student affairs at Emmanuel College, which is in Georgia, really close to Anderson University. So he always said that it's a blessing. We're at a Christian school and he said he always thought that God put us together for him to be my mentor because he was able to bring my husband and I back together in the same region and not 5 hours away. So he kind of kept this job for about a whole year and he prayed about it. And I guess God said it's time and I'm here.
You're, yeah, I love it. No, again, the everyone has a different story.
Yep.
We've already talked about Toolbox, and you mentioned the impact of your mentor, which again, that's one of the most frequently mentioned tools that we have. Um, what's another thing? I know I'm stealing probably all your tools for our last
Yeah.
segment on the
No,
Toolbox,
you're
but
good.
what's one thing that you can share now with our listeners that that mentor provided you with? Maybe something that you had not seen or applied prior to that moment.
Building your inner circle quickly. That was something that a mentor, he as my mentor is just like, hey, Shaq, this is what it looks like in higher ed for the space that we're in athletics. A lot of times it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so as I wouldn't say new, I've had about close to 15 years in the industry, but that's still a baby to someone who's 20, 25, 30 plus years in the game. And he said, you need to have a Fab Five. And that's going to be your inner circle of people who can call people on your behalf, who knows you, who knows other people, because that's what you're going to need to lean on when you're going from position in position. That's going to get you to the table. That's going to get you past the interview table into like conversations that most people might not get. So if you are a new or emerging leader, building your inner circle is really going to be important for your career.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, great application of a tool that some people might think not think how deeply
Hmm.
impacting it can be. Great stuff. Let's go and take another break.
Okay.
Once again, our guest today is Shaq Miller. She's the assistant athletic director at Anderson University in South Carolina. Also a successful entrepreneur and leader. She's the founder and CEO of Next Play Athletic Coaching. We're going to hear about both of those in just a moment. But let's take that break. We're coming back. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Beacon Creative Wall of Fame for their support of the podcast. Now, Vital Signs Wall of Fame has been around for decades, helping schools share their legacy with their video boards. But Beacon Creative really adds a new twist. It's a creative content service that's going to supply um, content for your digital platforms. It's going to tell the stories of your students that you want to tell, but maybe don't have the time. Beacon's going to do it for you, and you don't have to lift a finger. To find out more, I want you to email John Townsend, and that's John, John at beaconwalloffame.com. That's John at beaconwalloffame.com. We also want to say thank you to our friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Whether it's a simple social media post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter, Gipper is going to help you promote your teams, your student athletes, your entire program using their easy to use templates and your school colors, your logos, your brands. And it's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com for more information. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Hometown. Hometown continues to change the game with their features that include, well, digital ticketing. They're still the number one digital ticketing provider. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising, and a whole lot more? Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. You're going to be glad you did. That's hometown.com.
Hometown is definitely the way to go. For someone working in higher ed and college athletics, it is efficient, it's fast, anyone can be able to use it, and it helps us when it comes to game operations. So I would definitely recommend Hometown to anyone who needs something that can really work for them when it comes to game day operations.
Oh gosh, thanks for sharing that. We don't hear of as many colleges using it, but I know it has a big footprint at the college level. So thanks for sharing. Once again, our guest today is Shaq Miller. She's the Assistant Athletic Director at Anderson University, that's in South Carolina. Um, let's take a deep dive into all things Anderson. Describe the college for our listeners, the enrollment, the scope, what you do specifically in athletics. What's the deep dive on Anderson?
Oh, Anderson is one of, I would say it's a hidden gem because a lot of people don't know where it is and that it even exists. But when you see this school, literally, it's like we could be on a Division 1 level. Our facilities are immaculate. Our academic classes rigorous. We have a really strong academic rigor. We are a Division 2 institution that has about 7,500 students. We just added football to our program, so our program is less than 5 years old. We're going on year 3 now. And we just added men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse less than 5 years. So we are a growing institution when it comes to collegiate athletics. We have 21 sports, which is not heard of at the Division 2 level. But again, we are a strong university when it comes to our athletics as well as academics. So we're not a school that just recruit you because you're a great jock and a great player. You have to be able to excel in the classroom as well or we can't be able to recruit you. You won't even get through the admissions door. And that's one thing that I really love about this institution because they really thrive on ensuring that our student athletes and students as a whole progress and matriculate through college with a great education and a degree and a job that pays them really well to be able to give back.
Now, in addition to your title of assistant athletic director, I think I noticed that you also are student athlete support. What's that all about?
So this is something that's really new. What I left out was we are really close to Clemson University. So we like to say we like to compete with them, even though our finances and budget and everything is different. But my AD, my mentor, came to me and said, "Hey, Shaq, I wanted you to create something that provides a holistic program for our student athletes. So we'll be focused on professional development, spiritual development, as well as personal development. And we called it the Trojan Playbook. So it's something that I've created since I've been here less than 8 months, and it just focuses on the holistic student athlete. It's great for recruiting. It's great for helping our student athletes and finding identity outside of who they are as an athlete, but who they serve as well, because again, we're a Christian school. And so I do a lot of anything supportive wise for our student athletes, whether it's mental health, whether it's making sure that we have the resources for them outside of the campus, in the community, anything that you can think of that's not athletics, I'm here for the student athletes. And so I've been working really hard at trying to see how I can build them up and give them more in their toolbox so that way when they graduate, they are just really equipped to be able to be great, just people.
All right. Thanks for sharing that. And since you opened the door, I'm going to, crash in. Now I know you only been at Anderson for a short time. You're probably still getting
Hmm.
your feet on the ground, but let's talk about that program. I don't want you to give names or anything like that, but share a little bit about an athlete or a team that you've worked with and kind of help them along that road so far.
Oh, absolutely. So I've brought in different stakeholders in the community. For example, we worked on identity and what that looks like for them as student athletes, understanding, who they are beyond the sport. What does it feel like if you didn't have this sport? And so we went into deep conversations about things that can help them as to be just people, right? That's because that's who they are first. A student athlete is just, something that they have, that's something that they do. But once that is done, who are they? What do they want to do? And so for us, for me, is doing those deep dive conversations and those hard conversations to get to the root of how they can be able to progress if they didn't have sports. If that wasn't a part of them, can they still be people? Can they go about their day to day? What does their mental look like? So we've done things like that, career panels, and understanding what their goals are and how I can be able to use my connections to get them plugged in, depending on whatever their major is. So I've been blessed, and that's why I said having your circle is important because you can lean on those people to be able to help these student athletes. So even though I've been here such a short amount of time, hitting the ground sprinting is what I've done, what I've been doing, but this is something that I literally have been doing for a while in just other areas and other universities. So it's something that I would say is just kind of what I do.
Mhm.
And so it's been helpful for them because student athletes are kind of picking on like this is something other than just being in a sport, just playing the game. Like, no, we want you to be great. So I'm looking at it from a holistic standpoint. And so every a month we work on different things and then we do different things to kind of help to become greater student athletes.
Oh, great stuff, and it really answers in part what my next question was going to be about coming into a new position. Building relationships, building connections. You talked specifically in that last topic about the students. What have you done, or what are you doing right now? Because it's an ongoing thing. What are you doing to build those same types of connections with the coaching staff?
Well, because it's new, it's trying to get the buy-in, right? And coaches have that mindset, okay, if it's anything outside of academics, if it's anything outside of their athletics, it's just extra, right? But it's important because this is what they need to go to the next level once they graduate. So it's getting that buy-in, making sure I show up for them, making sure they see it on, my resume. They know I can do what I can do,
Right.
but understanding that I'm here for them and how I can support them. Because if you have a student athlete that holistically has everything, I feel like they can be able to perform better in the classroom as well as on their playing surfaces. So that buy-in is really important. So I'm strategic about having conversations with them, how I can be able to help their student athlete beyond, what's they are working with when it comes to their sport, but helping them understand that Trojan Playbook is here and it's here to stay. So we got to get on board.
I love it. That's great. Um, for our listeners, we've already mentioned that in addition to being the assistant athletic director at Anderson, Shaq Miller is also an entrepreneur. She's the founder and CEO of her own organization, Next Play Athletic Consulting. We're going to hear about that in our next segment. But before we do that, Shaquana, if one of our listeners want to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, find out more about Anderson or about Next Play, or just add you to their network, what's the best way that they can connect with you?
Absolutely. So we're on LinkedIn, Next Play Athletics. They can also look me up by Shaquana Miller, and www.nextplayathleticsconsulting.com, and as well as Instagram as Next Play Athletics ATH.
Okay, I'm writing all those down so we can tag this episode. Well, let's take that break. I know that's shocking for our regular listeners that we're going to take another break, but we are going to come back with more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thank you to Home Campus for their support of the podcast. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day, whether it's scheduling, your rosters, the results, facility management. Their athletic clearance and eligibility platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com for more information. Don't forget to mention the podcast. They'll give you a nice discount. That's homecampus.com. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online master's degree in athletic administration. My assistant athletic director, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. And while they were earning their degree, they also got to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. And we want to say thanks to our friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with our teams and had tremendous success, and so will you. Go to snapraise.com, check out all their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. That's snapraise.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Shaquana, we've mentioned a couple times that in addition to your full-time job as an assistant AD, you're also a successful entrepreneur. Let our listeners know, what is Next Play Athletic Consulting? What was the motivation to start it? How can they find out more? And I guess, why should, I say this very cynically, but why should they care? Why should they go to your website?
Absolutely. So, Next Play Athletics Consulting, we help student athletes, families, schools, school district confidently navigate the NCAA compliance world. We help with academic readiness as well as strategic strategies for recruiting. And the reason why I got into this is because of my world in compliance. What I do even now, I work with eligibility when it comes to academics. And prior to being in compliance, I had a lot of student athletes that were just ineligible for small things that could have been handled at the high school level. So missing a core course or different things like that. And so as I was doing more research, I realized that this is something that wasn't just in that region, that it could be worldwide. And that's when Next Play was birthed. And I literally have been hitting the ground running and trying to help schools. I go to camps and talk to families about the boring part of athletics. And you want to play, but you have to be eligible. What does that look like? So I come in at some schools and I work with counselors and helping them understand how to read a transcript, how to communicate with student athletes and families on something like the 10-7 rule on core courses. I even had a school just recently that didn't even have a high school core list for NCAA. And so these student athletes were transferring out to other schools because of the things that they needed in order to play at the next level. So why should people care? It's because this is what gets them in the door and gets them eligible and gets them the scholarships that they need to play at Division I and at Division II. I come in and do transcript reviews and making sure that they are in line with graduating and graduating with the right things that they need to be eligible based on their goals. I help them with recruiting strategies and what does that look like when you're communicating with coaches? What should you be providing them? What should your huddle account look like? Do you have a huddle account? Do you have all those things that will make you more marketable? Because I have a background in compliance, I know what's out there, and I know what they're looking for. I know what the rules are. So having someone like myself, I say that we are like the trifecta because we help, not really mainly with recruiting, but we get you eligible. So that way you can be able to play at the main level. But we are experts that really deep dive and give families, schools the knowledge and the confidence that they need to play at the next level.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Um, can you share? I mean, athletic directors are, they're kind of a show me type of a group. Um,
Mhm.
Talk about, and again, no names, but talk about, one of your clients and how you kind of help them in one or maybe multiple areas, because I think this is definitely something that the timing is right.
Right. So we go in, just recently, we have a certain area in North Carolina where we go and do parent sessions. We do sessions with coaches and we kind of give them the basic foundation of what they need to know in order to kind of maneuver through this space. We've also worked with that school when it comes to their counselors. We tell ADs, like, we're not here to take anyone's position. We're kind of here to enhance them and give them the tools that they need to be able to help these families kind of grow and navigate through this space. What we've been working with on my level at the college level, our parents are just unaware of these things. And so for me, I'm educating them and letting them know, hey, you have a stake in this as well. It's not just the AD's responsibility. It's not just the coach's responsibility. It's the parents, honestly, responsibility. Because when we come in, we need you to understand what this looks like for their eligibility so you can make the right decisions for them. So those are some of the things that we do. We come in sometimes and we kind of go in a computer lab and we help everyone get a eligibility center account so they can have their ID number. Some parents are coming to me at 12th grade and they don't even have what they need. So how are you able to get official visits? You're not. So understanding what they need grade level by grade level, semester by semester, so they can enhance the scholarships that they are getting if they're not getting it, so they can get them.
Yeah, again, I checked out the website before you came on. Very user friendly, tons of information, and the services, from the consulting to the coaching to the college recruiting, and you've worked with a ton of big colleges, big universities. You also have schools where you've placed students. If our listeners want to find out more, listeners, I think you got a tremendous resource here. What's the contact information again for Next Level Consulting?
It's www.nextplayathleticsconsulting.com. That's where you're going to really get us. Our phone number is on there. All the information that you need is on there. Like you said, is user friendly. We wanted to make sure that we call it stupid simple, where you come in and it's not where it's a whole lot of guesswork. You know what we do, how we do it, and how to contact us.
Okay. And again, we'll put that information in the show notes. Shaquana, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. Obviously, you're wearing a lot of hats to
Yeah.
share with our listeners, but we're not done yet.
Okay.
We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you have a tremendous background in athletics, but in just a minute, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let you put 3 tools in their toolbox. You've already
Okay.
given us a ton of tools. So let's take that final break here from Athletic Surveys. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Shaquana Miller puts in her new athletic director toolbox. Please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We'd like to thank Athletic Surveys for their support of the Toolbox segment. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for student athletes, for coaches, even for parents. And here's the cool part. The information that came back on these surveys, almost always over the top positive, and that data was incredibly valuable to collect. We also got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to address their concerns, usually keep them from turning into something big. But going back to that data, having that, particularly when you're speaking with a frustrated parent, very valuable. And sometimes you're speaking to your principal or your school board. It's really valuable. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting with somebody I want to call a new friend of the show, Shaq Miller. Incredible background in athletics as a leader, as a coach. She's the assistant athletic director at Anderson University in South Carolina. She's also the CEO and founder of Next Play Athletic Consulting. But right now, I'm going to challenge her to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let her put 3 items in the toolbox. So, Shaq, what's going to go into your new athletic director toolbox?
Oh, I'm excited. I would say listen first, then lead. Your first 90 days is really crucial and it is based on listening, heavy on listening. I always like to tell people meet with the coaches, meet with the stakeholders, meet with community leaders, meet with staff, and even student athletes, because you want to see what's working, what's not working, what's broken, how you can help. But this also, I feel like, will help with credibility and avoid missteps really quickly. So 90 days is a crucial. And again, listen first, then lead. And then I have something where it's communicate early, clearly, and often. Silence creates confusion. You want to over communicate expectations. This is something that I learned early on in my career as well, because decisions, and there are a lot of decisions and changes. And so, in those moments of uncertainty, you want to make sure that you communicate. That is what's going to help a department, a program, a culture is being able to communicate early, clearly, and often. And then something that people don't like to say that's really important early on is taking care of yourself. We do a lot. We work a lot. I'm someone who is can wear many hats, but in order to keep going to the next level, I can't be pouring from an empty cup. So you have to figure out what works best for you so that way you know how to pour back quickly because you're going to have to be able to give to others. And when you are giving to yourself, people will understand that you're taking care of yourself, which means that you'll take care of others. So you don't want to be burnt out. Burnout is real. And early on, you want to do all the things, you want to meet all the expectations, and that's really important. But learn what that is to be able to fill your cup back up and taking care of yourself.
Well, you probably saw me writing those down. I just love them, and I love your turn of phrase on your first one. Listen, then lead. I've said many times that that was a tool that I wish I would have learned how to
Hmm.
use much earlier in my career. And the communication one. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone put it that way before. Communicate early and often, but make sure it's clear.
Clear. Yep.
Great stuff.
Thank
One
you.
more time, if one of our listeners wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, or just add you to their network, what's the best way that they can connect with Shaquana Miller?
Yeah, just find me on LinkedIn and you'll be able to see everything else on there. It's Shaquana Miller. I'm someone that listens. I'm sorry. I pay attention to DMs. I respond to DMs. I'm not that person. So even if you just hop on in and just say hello, I will respond. If you have a question, I'm not a gatekeeper. So I love to share because I was blessed to have that same level of respect and someone sharing with me. So Shaquana Miller on LinkedIn, and we can go from there.
All right. Well, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. All the best moving forward. And I guess I'm going to have to make that trek up to Anderson, South Carolina to
Yes, you're gonna
check
love
out
the
the university.
campus.
Okay. For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we do upload the Zoom recordings of every episode to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.